responsibilities that befall us as Rotarians. We will continue to strive to create a better world with optimism, renewed energy, and a commitment to service to you and our fellow men, women, and children. Please, God, help us so to serve. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome, visiting Rotarians and guests. We're glad you took time from your schedule to join us today. Guests, as I read your name, please stand briefly along with your host Rotarian so that we can recognize you, and we will save our applause until the end. Eric Neuendorp is with the Shock and here with Marlene Lividu. Did I? All right. Andrea Pickrell is here as a gift of Jeff Hassel, our president with Gable and Gottwalls. Dine Terrell is the pianist's mom, and she, along with the pianist Abigail Terrell, are here joining us. Jason Cobb, our Rotary auditor, is here as a club guest. Jason, where are you? Terry Ingmeyer is here as a guest with Alicia Herrera. Great, welcome. And I love this one. Allison Hutchings is here as a guest with Rhonda Daniel. And I say that because under business, the words "it's complicated" are filled in. So speak to Allison or Rhonda about that. Those are our visitors today. Please give them a warm welcome. Now, visiting Rotarians from Bristow, Oklahoma, Mickey Moore. From Edmond, Oklahoma, Judy Reyes Henderson. Hope I said that right, Judy. And from what I understand, a almost new member of our club, Jerry Strange, who is with the Hobart, Oklahoma club. Jerry? Okay. Welcome, Rotarians, guests. Rotarians, please visit us again soon.
Well, everyone, we're proud to share another special musical presentation with you featuring 16-year-old Abigail Terrell. She goes by Abby. She's a piano student at the Barthelmess Conservatory and Bart Center for Music. She's a piano student of Tatiana Lantos and studies composition with Dr. Noam Feingold, who we will meet here in just a moment. She'll be performing a piano composition that she herself has written entitled Anna. Just so you'll know, Abby will also be featured on September 26th at the PAC before the Tulsa Symphony Orchestra concert, and will be performing this piece. TSO pre-concerts feature all works from the composition program performed by students at BART and University of Tulsa. Today we have a special treat to get a preview of this music. But before Abby goes, we'd like to have a few words from Dr. Noam Feingold about the BART Conservatory.
Hi, thank you so much for having us today. It's such an honor to represent our institution for you. Basically, the Barthelmess Conservatory is our professional music training school in Tulsa, and it's over on 9th and Detroit, if you've never heard about it. We're a school of about 50 students, mostly on scholarship, who are given instruments and basically take intensive music studies to prepare to become professional musicians and to integrate into the larger musical scene of the United States and hopefully beyond. I'm currently the director of the Barthelmess Conservatory as of about a month ago, so it is my absolute pleasure to have this be the first time that we have an outreach opportunity to have people hear our music and see what's going on over at our amazing school. Abby is one of our amazing pianists and composers. I would say probably about a fifth of the students probably study composition with us. I started the composition program about a year ago, and we hope that you'll join us before the Tulsa Symphony Orchestra concert on the 26th so you can see what incredible music is being written by members of our community. And so hopefully we can understand just how beautiful the music scene here actually is. I think sometimes it just kind of tends to pass us by a little bit. So I'll stop talking now because I can talk way too much. And please give it up for Abigail Terrell. Thank you.
I don't know if you noticed, she played a lot of those black keys during that. For those of you who went to OSU, that means it was a hard piece. It's my first time. All right, for our phones out, take notes segment. Just as I have been telling you about today's program, there are other programs coming up that you need to note on your calendars, and I hope you'll do so. And also, there should be some white notepads on your tables for you to take notes if you don't like to use your phone. Next week, our speaker will be Russ Kirkpatrick of Kirkpatrick and Kinslow Productions, and he will talk about filmmaking in Oklahoma. And the word has it that he'll be looking for some extras for his next film, so if you've been looking for your big chance, this may be it. On September 23rd, Reggie Ivy of the Tulsa County Health Department will come and speak to us about local and other health issues. On September 30th, Kim Henry, our former Oklahoma First Lady, will be our speaker and will speaking to us, at least in part, on early childhood education. And looking further into the future, we're really excited to let you know that on December the 16th, we're currently expecting Taylor Hansen to speak about food deserts and his effort to get good food to people who have few choices. And I hope that most of you know his other reason for notoriety, and I won't say anything else. You guys figure it out. But it's a big deal. Take my word for it. Mark your calendars now and plan to be there, and make sure to bring guests to our future meetings. Today, the committee meetings will be classifications in room 232 and budget in 233. Maybe we're not having classifications. Anyway, maybe someone should ask Michael Hairston. No meeting today. All right. Somebody's hand has just got a helium balloon on it.
I just wanted to recognize one of our other guests from Langston University is also a Rotarian, a former board member of the Oklahoma City Club, and I just wanted her to be recognized. And I'm sorry, I forgot your name.
Mantra Jones, thank you for coming. Thank you for noticing. I had not noticed. Let's recognize today's sponsors. James Adair from Claude Neon Federal. Thank you, James. Ed Monette, Monette and Associates. That's a little bit old picture, Ed. Scott Petty from Petty's Fine Foods. And John O'Connor, Tom Clinda, and Daniel Ketchum from the Newton O'Connor, Turner, and Ketchum Law Firm. We appreciate your sponsorship. Your sponsorship helps us do good things in the community. Remember, when you need something done, look to your fellow Rotarians first. And now we're going to our second Where Are They Now segment. The first one happened last week, as you may recall. This week, we will talk a little bit about our former IBA honoree, Jenny Thompson. She was our female award winner in 1998. A few things about her. She won 19 NCAA titles when she was a student at Stanford, and she won 12 Olympic medals in 4 different Olympic Games, and including the 2000 Olympic Games and the 2004 Olympic Games, which, as you may know, were after she was our honoree in 1998. She won 8 gold medals, which is more than any other American woman in Olympic history. And the only Americans who have won more gold medals than her are household names, Michael Phelps, Mark Spitz, and Carl Lewis. So she's in very fine company. After Jenny graced us with her presence, she began medical school at Columbia University in the fall of 2001, where she witnessed the 9/11 attacks on the World Trade Center. The experience convinced her to go back to swimming in order to give something back to the sport that she loved, and history shows that she won more medals in the 2004 Games. She married on September 5th of 2010. She's currently an anesthesiologist for Spectrum Medical Group in Portland, Maine. She volunteers frequently as a celebrity swimmer for Swim Across America to raise money for cancer research, and she was inducted into the U.S. Olympic Hall of Fame in 2012. And this is one of my favorite quotes from Jenny about her life. She said, "I'm from a blue-collar town, a single-parent family with modest means at best. The message I like to give kids is that it doesn't matter where you are from, but if you have determination and commitment to goals, then you can attain them. I'd like to think that I'm a living example of that." As I mentioned last week, we should be proud of the lives that we have touched through the IBA Awards and through our other activities, and we should be proud that we supported athletes who have continued to be great citizens and contributors to our society. So let's give, I guess, ourselves a round of applause. Speaking of the IBA Awards, it's my pleasure to be able to announce to you the outcome of the 2015 awards. Thank you, of course, to all of the Rotary members and others who supported the event. We raised over $100,000 net from the event. We gave away $47,000 to the honorees and their charities at the event, and we netted about $55,000 for the club foundation. So congratulations to Tom Clinda and his hard-working team. Would all the IBA committee members for this year please stand up to be recognized? Now, I'm going to repeat something I said earlier in the year, and that is to encourage you to sign up for new committees. And speaking particularly about the IBA committee, I've served on that committee for a lot of years, and there needs to be some more new persons on that club. Not because there's anything wrong with the current people, but we need some new faces. So Michael and Dana Burks, I know, could use your help for the 2016 awards, and I encourage you to sign up. It's definitely not too late in the year to contribute. So finally, before our Rotarian of the Day and before our Sergeant at Arms, I want to talk a little bit about the Rotary Value Proposition that I mentioned first on July 1st and then have mentioned several times since then. We like to remind our members of the great accomplishments by other Rotarians throughout the world, in addition to, of course, patting our own selves on the back. As you probably know, clubs around the world are partnering in many efforts in accomplishing great things under some of the most challenging conditions that you can imagine. And this is an example. While at the Rotary Convention, I learned about Razia John. Some of you may know about her. She's an amazing Rotarian from Massachusetts who divides her time between the United States and Afghanistan, which is her home country. She remembers the Afghanistan of her childhood, and you probably know all the history over the last 40 or 50 years in Afghanistan, when women stayed in school and their voices were respected. She founded the Zabuli Education Center, which is a girls' school in a rural Afghan village that has never had a school for girls until this one. Beth Murphy of Perfect Pictures, who's an award-winning director, did a documentary about her school in a film titled What Tomorrow Brings. And this is a trailer for that documentary. It's about 3 minutes, so it's a little bit longer than what we usually do. But again, I want to emphasize this is part of the Rotary Value Proposition for you all and for all of us to be proud of things that our fellow Rotarians are doing around the world.
It's really a very unique situation in this village that they never had a girls' school here. There's one, she's running.
Hi.
You can see the joy on their face, the way they run to school. Our kids in US, we have to force them in the morning to wake them up, literally. But these kids, you can see how eager they are. It's really heartbreaking.
I want to be a doctor. My great is ambition, peace in Afghanistan.
I want to be a teacher.
My great ambition, peace in Afghanistan. I want to be a doctor.
When we opened the school, we had like 200 girls. And I saw these two sisters that don't have a father, don't have a mother, and they are brought up by an aunt. She's 11 years old. I mean, she's so little. And they had her engaged a week or two ago. She stopped coming to school, which made us very sad. And I wanted to see if there's any possibility to bring her out.
ما به خاطر از این می آمدیم که از خاطر می دخترکا خدیجه و خدایجه دیگه چی باعث است که شما یار نمیمانین در مکتب؟
در اینجا چی سرکنه چیز در خشت اینجا کار میکرد او ششته بود گفته و مردکا آمده بود که چرا تو جیرخون هستی گفته که امین بسیار ناجور است حالا من میخوام اگر او بمره ما چی کنیم بیادرم گفته بود باز گفته که برو خیر است بر رضای خدا یک من خوراک دارم و نمو رو بر تو میتم باز او آمد که بدل است باز ما مرا داد
و مثل که هزار مردمای ما شما با بلک‌ها مردمای ما بی‌سواد و امتو ماندن.
It's an illustration of the real in the trenches challenges of bringing the idea of democracy to a country like Afghanistan. There's a misconception among people, especially in the West, that these problems began with the Taliban. Unfortunately, it predates the Taliban by centuries. You know, Afghanistan is a largely a patriarchal, conservative, religious, tribal country. And the question is, how do you bring about this kind of, you know, more progressive Western sensibility into a region where women have been voiceless and faceless for so very long?
The day before we were opening the school, some men came inside and said, please make it into a boys' school. because the boys are the backbone of Afghanistan and they need this help. And I said, well, you know that the women are eyesight of Afghanistan. And I said, unfortunately, you all are blind.
بله میگه بود مکتب بچه ها می ساختنش و اقتداد در تخریب ازی بودن که تخریب کنن نمونن که جور کنن میگفتن که زابلی صاحب خریده خانم زابلی این جای شخصیش است و از خودش است و من گفتم میره خود جای بردن هم میتونن.
The day our school opened, the other side of Kabul, there was 100 girls killed because somebody threw hand grenades in the school. یک سال که بخیر تیر شد چیزی که غلطیای ماست او را درست میکنیم چیزی که کمی است او را پورا میکنیم و امی امید داریم که این جای محافظ باشه دیگه به خدا از این قریه و از این مردم هیچ ما نمیخواد. As the situation in Afghanistan is so fragile, you never know what tomorrow brings.
At the International Convention, Beth Murphy told us a little bit more about the school and its goals, and the reality is that a lot of those little girls will never be doctors or lawyers or the things that they mentioned there at the beginning of that film. And one of their goals of the school is just to create a more equal environment in the home for these girls between their and their future husbands, just to make the playing field a little equal so they'll have a happier life. It was very poignant. Anyway, I just thought it was interesting for all of us to hear a little bit more about what our fellow Rotarians are doing around the world and what we can be proud of. All right, for a quick project announcement, a reminder that our Business Visitation Day is October the 21st, and you need to sign up quickly if you would like to be a host. A good opportunity for you to show off your business to other Rotarians. And now for our Sergeant at Arms, I almost said Sergeant Alarm. Sergeant at Arms, Alicia.
Good afternoon. I'm not wearing heels today. I gotta turn the mic down a little bit. Hi, fellow Rotarians. I don't know how to follow that video, Jeff. That was a good video.
You're going to do great.
I'll work on something. So I do have something kind of fun. Paula, is Paula? To the right. Wait. Too many clicks. So I knew Tulsa Public has a new superintendent, and most of the time when I don't know who someone is, I just Google them. So likely if I've talked to you all, I've Googled you. So I Googled our new superintendent, and I discovered that Tulsa Public is probably the coolest school in the world. And I brought this up to Paula, and she offered to pay $50 for me to not show the video. And I said, well, I'll throw in $50 to see it, and I'm sure our other Rotarians would be happy to pitch in a little bit. So let's just have a look. To the right. Follow there. To the right. Paula, can you do that, Paula? I appreciate that so much, Paula. Okay, real
Alicia,
quick.
somebody might pay money to see her do it now.
I would.
Wait, this is not, sorry, Paula, this is a complete surprise. I take it back.
She wasn't
Bad
expecting this at all.
Bad idea.
But if anyone wanted to pay money, we could probably talk her into it, I'm sure.
Next week.
Okay, as I told you last week in my video that I was absent from, we'll just speed past that. We're auctioning off some tickets. Tim and Barbara Knoll, again, have given 2 tickets to the OSU and OU home games. In addition to the tickets, they'll take you to dinner after the OSU game and a $50 gift card for dinner after the OU game. So we have 2 tickets to the OU-TU game. I have no interest in it. Just the thought creeps me out, but someone here might be interested. So if you would like to get your hands on the tickets, we will start the bidding at $50 each. $50 each. If you guys are interested in the tickets, we will have them available in the lobby afterwards. Okay. First of all, Matt Davis, $104 for his 60th birthday. Are you here, Matt? I'm very surprised. Matt's 60. Did you guys know that? 22 months of wedded bliss to Rebecca. So thank you very much, Matt. These two troublemakers shared a birthday. They gave $100 to Water Wells. Thank you, ladies, and happy birthday. Bob wanted to give $250 for his 93rd birthday, his 68th anniversary. First of all, it's been said before, you live really long when you're a Rotarian, and your marriages last. This is living proof. Bob's not here today, but I know for a fact he's watching. He had arm surgery, so if we could all just tell him happy birthday, Bob, he would really love it. Happy birthday, Bob! He is watching indeed, so thank you. Terry McDonald, $125, again, 29 years in Rotary, 45 years of marriage, 40 for his son's age, 6 for his oldest grandson's age, and 5 for the other. So I don't know who the other is, but the other grandson. So thank you, Terry, very much. I love this one. This is fantastic from Tom and Carla. They celebrated their 40th wedding anniversary. Tom gave $500 for Water Wells in celebration of his wedding anniversary and $150 for his birthday anniversary and his Rotary anniversary, plus a late fee. I don't know what all that adds up to, but he gave us $150. So thank you very, very much, Tom. Bob Lucy gave us, I'm sorry, so unprepared, $200 for his 85th birthday, 63 years of marriage to Pat, and his 52 years in Rotary. So don't quit Rotary. Your marriage will fail. And finally, happy birthday to Michelle Place this Friday. Thank you very much. She gave $100 for her birthday. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Alicia. Now it's my pleasure to introduce our Rotarian of the day, Marlene Livaday. Marlene is the Director of Partnerships with the Tulsa Shock. She's a Club Foundation Fellow and has been a member of Rotary since June of 2013. I asked her for a little-known fact about her. I don't know if this is little known, but I still find it interesting. Marlene spent 28 years working with the PGA and the PGA Tour prior to being here with the Shock. I think that's a pretty neat deal. She probably has some great stories. In any event, please welcome our Rotarian of the Day, Marlene Livaday.
Thank you so much. I'm very pleased to be here as Rotarian of the Day, and thank you, Rotary members. Just wanted to say it's a great honor for me to introduce Coach Cheryl Miller. I consider her to be an inspiration. She's an amazing athlete and a true role model for a lot of women. Cheryl carries a tradition of excellence wherever she goes, and the tradition is now continuing at the University of Langston, or Langston University. Before her career, Coach Miller played at Riverside Poly High School in California, and then she went on to the University of Southern California as a forward, and at USC, they had a record of 112-20. That's a pretty impressive record. And, and then from 93 to 95, she was head coach for USC. And then she went on to become the head coach of the Phoenix Mercury from 97 through 2000. And she enjoyed a career as a successful broadcaster and commentator for many different broadcast networks. I reached out to some friends in the WNBA, Donna Orender, Teresa Edwards, some of the coaches, but I found that Teresa Edwards' quotes were very poignant and very fun. So I'm going to do a quote from Teresa Edwards, who is a fellow Olympic team member of Cheryl's, a WNBA player, and a fellow Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Famer, which is a huge honor.
And potential former friend. Go ahead and read.
She says, Cheryl and I are the exact same class. I guess you can officially call us old school. We played our hearts out whether there was an audience or not, and it was for pride and sheer love of the game. There were plenty of good players: Lynette Woodard, Anna Donovan, Joyce Walker, Kim Mulkey, and many more. The list goes on with greatness. Cheryl was the showstopper, and no doubt about it. Forget the popcorn, get to your seat, and watch this young lady ball. Cheryl practically carried women's basketball on her own. The pressure of what we represented always embodied her work on the court. I'm very proud to have played when she played, and I'm most honored knowing that we graced the hardwood together, winning the '84 Olympic gold, and then we traveled to Moscow 2 years later in '86 to dethrone the Russians. It was behind the Iron Curtain that we claimed the World Championship title to bring down the Russians together. Cheryl definitely led the way in both battlefields. And she said, in closing, Cheryl, from my experience with her, is a fierce competitor and a skilled winner. She is my wing lady of my all-time starting five of women's basketball greatest ever. They may talk about the players of the new generation every year, but let me tell you, no one has come since Cheryl Miller left the game that could fill her sneakers. No matter how much she may brag about herself, and knowing Cheryl, being the confident Cheryl that she is, she will. She's right. However, she can't possibly do herself justice. You guys really missed what was sincerely our best when she stepped off the court. And I agree. And she goes on to say, I always wanted to play Cheryl one-on-one, but you know what?
No, she did. No, you had me, Marlene. I was starting to buy into it to that last part right there. Are you kidding me? Come on, Teresa. First of all, she's got the wrong Millers twisted. It's Reggie that does all the talking. I'm the quiet Miller, the underpaid Miller. But I want to thank you guys for having me here. God does work in mysterious ways. We start practice today, and I definitely need to be in the church because what the players are going to go through. So now I will curb my tongue. But I am so excited for the season. I was just listening to what you were saying, Marlene, and 3 years ago, I couldn't get a job coaching. And it really made me reflect upon, I started my coaching career at my alma mater at USC, where I had absolutely no clue about coaching, how to be a good coach, how to be a leader. I got the playing part, but how to implement a game plan and be a role model and a leader and help them attain their goals, I had no clue. And then I was able to coach in the WNBA when it first started, and then to look back 3 years ago and not be able to get a job because the game had passed me by. That was one thing that they told me, that my name and my experience wasn't relevant. I was like, woo. So, but looking back, I wouldn't have traded the jabs, the brutal honesty, because it was how they felt. This was their viewpoint, and I had to accept it. And it really has made me a better person, a better coach, because now I can really identify with the young ladies who I'm coaching. And these are all the players, these are all the very talented young ladies, for whatever reason, that they didn't make good decisions. They didn't have proper role models. They were told that they weren't good enough. They were told they weren't smart enough. They were told that they would never amount to anything. So when you have this group of young ladies on campus expecting to fail, in comes me. And they're like, I can't play for her. There's no way. And they were probably right. Had I got the job just like that, they are absolutely right. But it was going through this brief journey to get there that I was taught the one thing that I think we all should really embrace every day we wake up, and that's just a little small dose of humility. A very small dose of humility, something that my brother Reggie doesn't know how to spell or grab or grasp or anything like that. And so once they got over the shock of looking and seeing and hearing and touching and throwing ideas at Cheryl Miller, they understood that I have their best interests at heart. I'm not going to tell them everything that they want to hear. I tell them what they need. I tell them the brutal, honest truth. You've made enough bad decisions in your life. Now let's start making some good ones. Last year we finished up 28-4 or 28-5. 29-4, not too bad. We were 3 seconds away from advancing to the Final Four or Final 8, and we got beat on the last second shot. This year, on paper, we are 10 times better than we were last year. We have a great class coming in and a solid class returning. I wouldn't trade anything or the walk that I've had to get here at Langston. And just watching the video up here, you guys would fit in at Langston with the music and the dancing. So you have to come down to one of our games. You would fit in perfectly. But what are young ladies? We have a great student body. We have a president who's young, energetic, enthusiastic. We need old school. I'm old school. I need you guys to come out and experience what it's like to see these young men and women, our young athletes. They need to be able to have a conversation with you Fortune 500, you go-getters, you movers and shakers. They need to know that they can be a part of that too. It's not going to be handed to them, but they've got to roll up their sleeves and do the work. Thank you very much. Any questions? I'm better with questions. All right, beautiful. We out? We're wonderful? Thank you very much for having me, guys.
So Cheryl, you'll take a couple from me, won't you? Okay, I'm first, then you're next. How about that? Tell us, who does Langston play? Tell us who's in the conference, who's on your schedule.
We have Our Lady of the Lake. We no longer have Bacone. We have Wiley, Jarvis, Oklahoma City, which is our first game at home, and we have Alexander Shreveport and a few other. We were excited for a minute that we might be able to play a couple of the universities up here, but for some reason they don't want to play Little on Langston.
Not now.
Come on. So we're just looking for a practice game with the big wigs. So if you want to come, we'll come to you. How's that? We'll come to you and play you guys.
Not everyone probably got a chance to read that great Sports Illustrated article. So would you tell us a little bit about the Mike Garrett story, how that all came about?
Wow. Okay. Mike Garrett was the reason why I got my first job at USC. He was the athletic director at the time. And so I had been struggling, like I said earlier, of trying to get back into women's basketball. I was calling, every college that I could think of, went on a couple interviews, didn't work out, and I finally just gave Mike a call and, just gave him my boo-hoo story. And he said, well, Cheryl, just hang in there. He goes, I can't understand it. He goes, it's beyond my comprehension. So he said, just be patient and, keep praying. Well, God and I right now are not getting along because, it didn't happen overnight. So I'm not speaking to him and he's ignoring me. So that's how that went for a while. But him and I are cool now. But I was at spending time with my family and friends, and we're at Magic Mountain. And the phone rings and it's Mike. And I said, hey, Mike, what's going on? I said, well, I'm about to get on this crazy ride. And he goes, no, you're about to get on a crazier one. I said, what are you talking about? He goes, are you ready to coach? And I said, yeah. I said, where? He said, Langston. I said, okay, where's Langston? He says, like everybody knows where Langston. It's in Oklahoma, Cheryl. I said, well, I know where Oklahoma City is, and I know where Tulsa. I said, he goes, right down in the middle, Cheryl. Langston, smack dab in the middle. And that's all she took. That was my job, and I live on campus with my players. I stay in the dorms with them. Every Friday is Catfish Friday. I pedal my bike to the office. I have no car, but hey, we were 29-4 last year, and we're going to win it all this year. So it's a great opportunity and situation.
Cheryl, tell us a little bit about Langston University, some of the classes, where the young people are that are coming to that university, because many of us haven't been there, which is a shame. But
that makes two of us. Okay, that makes two of us. Don't feel bad. You know what, Judy, can you come up there and answer this question? Thank you, sweetheart. I just make sure they get to class and stay in class and graduate and get great grades. Come on, sweetheart. Yes, ma'am. Sir. Yes.
I'm not ashamed to do a personal plug. I have a 17-year-old starting point guard at Cassia Hall. Can I come talk to you after the meeting?
She's 17? Oh, no. How tall is she? How tall is she? How tall?
She probably has the genes of Spud Webb, if you remember him.
So she's 4 or 5?
The size of the dog in the fight, remember? It's the fight in the dog.
It is if a center is 6'9". Oh, yes, it does. Oh, yes, it does in the paint. Size doesn't matter in the paint.
Oh, gosh. I don't know how to follow her whatsoever. But to answer your question, Langston University is historically... Yeah, that's okay. I'm Judy Reyes-Henderson. I work in institutional advancement and external affairs, the fundraising side of the university. So we raise money for our programs, the capital projects, our student scholarships, that sort of stuff. Langston University is a historically black university. It's the westernmost in the United States. We have roughly 2,500 students right now amongst our 3 campuses, campus here in Tulsa, in Langston, and in Oklahoma City. And we have graduate programs and undergraduate programs. Primarily, our students are coming into our accounting program, our business, at our School of Business. We have a great nursing school in our allied health program. We have a doctorate of physical therapy. Right now, we're the only ones with the physical therapy. We're getting ready to open up a new physical therapy building. So we have a lot of students that come through that program. A lot of students come through our education program and our liberal arts area. We're well known for primarily our nursing and our physical therapy. Right now, we have been working hard on our other areas within the business school and within education. As you know, there is a teacher shortage. So one of the programs that we started here in Tulsa is working with paraprofessionals that are in the schools right now who want to go on to get their teaching degrees. And Langston University was awarded a grant last year to help those paraprofessionals go on to get their teaching degrees so that we can help with the teacher shortage. I'm not done.
It's not in my paycheck right now, but I'm sure.
Well, I will say this. She has increased our attendance at our basketball games. Obviously, a lot more people know about Langston University because of Cheryl, because of the former work of Mike Garrett, which we're so pleased that he was able to do for us. They're both well-known speakers, great at what they do. But we want people to remember that Langston University is there for our academics, for those students who may not be accepted at the big schools like OU, OSU, UCO. We want those students to feel comfortable coming to Langston University with the grade point averages that they're able to come with. Most of these students are first generation. They are financially strapped. And so we're working with them as best we can to be able to show them that they can get a college degree and that they don't have to be worried about going into those big jobs. And she's right. We need folks like you to be able to come to our campus or for our students to be able to come to you and talk to them about how they can become someone who's leading the world in our economy, staying right here in Oklahoma, working here in Oklahoma. We do have a lot of out-of-state students, but we want them to feel comfortable here in Oklahoma so that they'll stay right here and be employed by Oklahoma and help our economy. So,
Change their environment.
and change the environments, that's right, change their environments. We're also well known for, Macho just pointed out something very well, our agriculture. Our agriculture department is top-notch. We probably earn the most federal grants with that program. We have a great goat research program. And we have, it's a lot of fun. We have a goat field day where we let the community come out and show them how to make goat cheese. We have a young alum who started Billy Goat Ice Cream. He's in Stillwater. And so he makes his ice cream out of goat milk. And it's well known. He received a grant, a business grant, while he was at Langston University to start his business. So there's some pretty smart whips at Langston University. And like I said, that agriculture program is top-notch. Some of the very best faculty there.
Thank you very much.
We have another question.
Oh, we do?
Cheryl, she said that a lot of the students are from Oklahoma. What about your team? Where are all of your players from?
Wow, all over. All over. We've been very fortunate. The one thing is, in AIA, we don't have a Division I budget. So we don't have the recruiting budget. So a lot of the recruits that we get wind of are phone calls, online, videotape. They're sending our stuff, word of mouth. You'd be surprised. But currently we have 4 or 5 Division I players for this year's team, and 2 from last year, and some other players that we're going to be very special this year.
Coach, there's some legendary stories of you and your brother hustling pickup games when you were young. I'd like to hear some of those. And in your playing career, what games stand out in your memory?
Reggie was the hustler. And I was the money person. So it worked out well. We grew up in Riverside, California, which is an hour away from Los Angeles. So we grew up in Mayberry. And you leave your doors open, everybody's your neighbor. You get in trouble down the street, you're going to get spanked all the way home to your house. It's a tough neighborhood. So we had used up all our options to play against competition and whatnot, and we decided to take our game, our talents, to Los Angeles. So my older brothers took, we went down to Santa Monica Beach, and they were out there warming up, and there was 3-on-3, and it was just Reggie and my older brother, and he goes, well, let's do 3-on-3. And he goes, well, there's only 2 of you. He goes, yeah, well, and I'm standing over on just stretching on the sidelines, and the guy goes, well, what about her? And he goes, oh, well, that's my sister. He goes, yeah, you know what, we'll play. My sister can come on. Yeah, and he goes, well, my guy's not ready. He goes, well, how about my sister and I and you, $50? And the guy starts laughing, and then before you know it, it was 15-0. And Reggie and I are, I'm like, and here, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good job, Reggie, and the rest for me. But that's how the enterprise of Miller and Miller landed at UCLA and USC, hustling. Fondest memories for me, honestly, 1984, and I don't mean to poo-poo this, was winning a gold medal in the backyard in Los Angeles, but was more special for me was watching Reggie win his in 1996 in Atlanta. Because when I had won mine in '84, I remember taking it off, and Reggie was in the stands, and I put it around his neck, and he started to cry, and he said, I'll never experience this, Cheryl. And I said, Reggie, trust me. I go, yes, you will, one day. He goes, no. I said, trust me, one day. So I had the opportunity when he was walking off the floor, and he gave me his bouquet of flowers, and he says, I always knew you were a woman of your word. And so he had his gold medal, and Please don't ever tell him I got misty-eyed about that. I never hear the end of that.
Real quickly.
Mhm.
Last year, I retired after 38 years of officiating basketball.
Oh, you didn't officiate our games last year, did you?
Well, I did some NAIA several years ago, Northwestern.
Okay.
Things like that. But I finally took the advice of the fans that I wasn't good enough. I needed to hang it up. So anyway, my question is, over the years, the game of basketball has changed dramatically. It's gotten quicker,
Yep.
physical.
Yes.
Are you in favor of that, or maybe trying to tighten it up a little bit more and have the officials get together? And I've talked to some of the big time officials about this, about why do you let it get so physical? Why don't you start calling the fouls? Well, when it's on TV, they want the good players to play, so they don't want to foul them out. What is your opinion as far as, I don't want to, not as of officiating, because I know there's some good officials.
We don't like you guys. We simply, coaches don't like you. It's a great question. And I think, as you mentioned, the game is faster, players are more athletic, and they're bigger. It's much more physical. What we would like to see, and the fans would like to see, is just everyone just be on the same page. If you're going to call this the first half, call it the second half. If it needs to be tightened up, then tighten up. I think the fans want to see a fast-paced game, up and down. You do want to see the great players stay in the game, but you also want to see them get into foul trouble if somebody is being smart and attacking them and putting them in that position. So we just want to see a fair game, and you guys have the toughest job of all, and I applaud you. And I can say this because the season hasn't started. All right, thank you very much, you guys. I appreciate it.
Thanks again, Cheryl. We really have been excited for weeks that you're coming. Yes. A book recognizing today's program will be presented to our partner in education school, Celia Clinton Elementary, and the book is Basketball Bells. And Cheryl, I'll ask you to inscribe that for us before you leave today. A quick reminder, at 3:30 today, Terry Heritage will be delivering the gift cards to the teachers at Celia Clinton. So if you'd like to be there at 3:30 to see that, I'm sure that would be fun, and she would enjoy having the company. I want to thank you all for attending again, and now when you go out and tell your friends and family and colleagues about Rotary, make sure to tell them about Jenny Thompson or Razia John or Cheryl Miller. We're adjourned.